I know you want the new MagicMush. Yeah, MagicMush. New MagicMush. Let's go. Despite the comedic... Okay, so here are your warnings. Here are your warnings. There is disturbing imagery, violent disturbing imagery, flashing colors, and other off-putting nature. So, here we go. It's about Ben Drowned, a series that I kind of finished, but not really. But not really. Pokemon creepypasta. Ooh, spooky spaghetti. Spooky spaghetti.
The early to mid 2010s was the era of the creepypasta. It was the era when so many internet horror stories took off in the mainstream. You couldn't
Can
escape
you
them
recognize
during
some
this
of
time period.
these?
There were so many creepypastas being made, and so many channels that got created and got their start just reading these creepypastas to the world.
Yeah. Yeah, Creeps McPasta, yeah, Gamer from Mars, some ordinary gamers. Yeah.
Pokemon has been around for over 10 years and is known to be
I myself have been scared by Fusili on a many occasion. I see.
a lighthearted kids game. But there's always been something unsettling about the original versions.
Everyone was going
Yeah,
crazy for
very.
these internet campfires.
Markiplier!
The peak of their
Also,
popularity is long since gone,
it's
and now they're
Pewds.
seen as another part of internet.
Oh! Holy
They
shit, it's a
defined
white
an
guy!
entire era, and being reminded of their existence makes a lot of people
Also, FPS. It's FPS Maker. Isn't Creep Smoke Pasta Creeps IRL? I don't know. I haven't been following that shit. Probably.
nostalgic for the fear they caused. And
Yeah,
you can
that-
look back and reflect on them to see if they hold up today. But that's the thing. Just because they
They
were popular
don't.
for a good while,
They
that doesn't
didn't.
mean every creepypasta was created equal. When looking back, you can definitely
The
see
McDonald's
some creepypastas
building.
are just complete dog shit these days and have aged like milk. In fact, I
Day
dare
of all
say
the blood.
80% of all creepypastas are like this now.
Ah,
They're filled
good
with
old
cliches
Sturgeon's
and just come off as
Law.
corny and try hard. There are only a handful
Sturgeon's
of creepypastas
Law.
I'd call actually good pieces of writing, and with there being thousands upon thousands of them, that's saying a lot. I've
Yeah,
mentioned in the past there's some
indeed.
I still enjoy and can look back on with positivity, but I'll be honest, it was a lot more enjoyable when you were a teen and didn't really look at them with a critical
Herobrine.
eye. Despite all this, however,
Why does he have the cock
there
eye?
is one creepypasta that was constantly put on a pedestal. One that was put above all the rest
Oh?
and was considered
Oh, hey,
the
user
greatest
666.
creepypasta ever made. And that creepypasta was Ben Drowned.
Aw, yeah. Ben Drowned. Ben Drowned. Now this is the good shit right here. CD Omega Lol. Gilbert Garfield. Garfield. I gotta play Majora's Mask someday. Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is a very strange game.
Indeed.
Tone-wise, there's a ton of very off-putting and disturbing things in it.
Oh, it's the
And
port.
due to its tone, it's stuck in the minds of many who played it. There has been a
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
discussion about this
definitely.
game to this very day. Lots of stories and theories have been crafted about it, but one day, someone looked at the game and thought, what if I were to take this already tonally disturbing game and made it even more disturbing?
Oh.
It was a normal day on the export on 4chan in 2010. Well, as normal as
Fear
can be. Have you seen
maxing.
the shit they post in there?
Wait, I need to see that. Wait, hold on. Late night. Have a fish tank with a light on. Kept seeing shadows in my peripheral vision. Heard sounds like deep breathing. Closed doors. Closed doors open even though I always shut it before I go to bed. I'm not afraid of you fuckers. Something replies, we're not afraid of you either. Nope! Home Alone in the middle of nowhere would be... Sorry, I read the next lines. Would be dangerous outside, so I have to stay inside. Can't move, frozen in fear. Remember what X says when you're in this situation. Door off, close, squeeze the hog. Haven't been bothered since. Fucking base. The abandoned shark they found in the fish tank in an abandoned museum. That's fucked up, actually.
A guy with the handle Jujuceable would create a thread that would go into
Jujuceable.
detail about his experience of moving to college and trying
Oh,
to
he's
get
a
a copy
trip
of one of his
friend,
favorite
too.
childhood games, Majora's Mask, when he
Ooh.
happens to come across an old man at a garage sale and gives him a shady copy of it for free. Said copy was a blank cartridge with the word Majora written on it. He
Ooh.
takes it back to his dorm,
Majora.
puts it in his console, and starts playing, only to be greeted by a file already being there named Ben, which he
Ooh.
then deletes, and then
Uh-oh.
things start to go wrong. The game starts to completely fall apart. Everything is now broken and out of place, and he's now getting stalked by this statue of Link. When he attempts to do the fourth day glitch from the original game, he's suddenly warped to a confrontation with the Skull Kid, and any attempts to defeat him end up with Link bursting into flames.
Oh.
The entire aura is, admittedly, very creepy.
Very
But yeah,
creepy.
even today watching this, the part where his game resets and there's a new file called Your Turn, and when he selects the file, it's just Link's corpse laying on the ground with a Skull Kid laughing over him. Yeah, that's honestly really unsettling.
Damn.
Eventually,
Very
Jujuceable is
unsettling.
lured underwater, where he finds the Link statue, and suddenly drowns. Then his game resets once more, and now you get the title drop.
Ben drowned.
Drowned.
There it is.
He would continue to play the game as it terrorized him, trying to find any way to get the nightmares and trauma the game was causing him to stop. But Jujuceable made the biggest mistake of all. By capturing footage of the game and uploading it to the internet, he accidentally let the spirit onto the web, and now the spirit is free to roam on the internet
glad you
wherever
did
he
that.
pleases. Ben is now free to terrorize whoever he wants online, and you could be next.
Holy shit, that's right. The fucking Cleverbot thing. Remember Cleverbot? I gotta stop clicking on the bar because it spoils the chapters.
And
want me
that's
to
Ben
speak
Drowned,
Spanish?
an internet horror story that would have been forgotten had it not been for the videos. Most horror stories
Indeed.
usually only use some pictures to show off how spooky they were, but Ben Drowned was different, as it had game footage, having all the events
Actual
described by the
tangible
author actually happen
footage.
in motion, giving credibility to the story as if it were real, which was extremely rare at the time. No matter
Very
which way you
real.
slice it, for 2010, this is extremely well done. This story
Bloopy.
is one of the many reasons why creepypastas became a phenomenon in the early 2010s.
Oh,
People
yeah,
wanted to make
absolutely.
stuff just like this. It was constantly lauded for its quality. It was never in your face with its horror. It was all subtlety and let you try and theorize things about it, or what most of it could even mean.
Whoa,
it was
he was
always
looking
considered
at
one of,
you.
if not, the scariest creepypasta ever made. Back then, it made the top
Indeed.
of so many scariest creepypasta lists, it isn't even funny.
Just read a creepypasta, screw sleep. I wonder what number one is. Oh, yeah, it's Tats Top's
Ben
video.
drowned.
Number one is...
Number one is
Ben, the haunted Majora's Mask copy.
And number 10, Ben Drowned.
Wow,
This
number
story is about a
10?
supposedly haunted copy of the game The Legend
10?
of Zelda Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 64.
Or is he counting upwards? BenDrown.avi. Wow.
Whenever creepypastas are mentioned, this story is constantly seen as one of the tentpoles of just how good the genre could be. It was basically the first haunted game creepypasta, which would later become its own genre that would be filled to the brim with cliches. Ben Drowned was
Indeed.
the one who established those cliches, so you can't really give it too much shit for that.
It was the
It was one of
progenitor.
the few creepypastas to hit the mainstream. You all know that Gravity Falls episode where the visual novel girl falls in love with Zeus.
I don't think you know what you're saying,
Zeus and the
No one
real
wants
girl.
more
If you look at the
Fucking
concept art,
hentai.
look what was one of the inspirations for this episode.
Huh. Also, wasn't this also when Doki Doki Literature Club was also at its absolute apex as well? Wasn't this also when Doki Doki Literature Club was a thing? Actually, which came first, Zeus and the Real Girl or hold on, let me look it up. Oh, fuck, that's right. I got to do my yearly. Okay, 2014. Okay, 2014. And oh, Susan the Real Girl came first. So yeah. Looks like Doki Doki was actually inspired by this episode, Susan the Real Girl. God damn it, stop. But yeah, as I was saying, I really gotta rewatch Over the Garden Wall and So should you. Go watch Over the Garden Wall. It's a perfect time to watch it. After the stream, of course.
There was talks of there even being a Ben Drown movie made by Clive Barker, but
God
it never materialized.
damn.
So probably for the best.
Yeah.
And oh boy, once the teenage girls got a hold of him, you can guess
Oh
what they did.
no, the Tumblr sexy men.
The whole concept of him being anywhere on the internet, it went from
Oh, no.
Ben's gonna get me, to
He's gonna get me, to
no, Ben's gonna get me.
Oh,
with some people
no.
rushing to Cleverbot in an attempt to actually talk to Ben. You know, this is sadly a little too relevant to be talking about right now. And yes,
Oh,
there were a lot of
no.
people who saw the videos and thought Ben was actually real. Don't give them too much crap. We were young once too.
yeah,
and
they were
believed
all-
stupid
we
shit
were
as
all-
well. That and the fact
Yeah,
that you had
we're all
YouTubers
dumb
saying shit
and
like this didn't help
stupid.
either.
Hey guys, I'm not just hammering up on this, this is actually pretty freaky. The last one I just made, which was Ben Drowned, has crashed my Vegas program so many times.
Oh my
I'm
god,
not
Ben
joking
is
here,
in
I'm
the
actually being honest. I've
computer.
never had this much problem making this particular video, and this is number one. I've been spent half an hour trying
Well,
to
the
get
problem is you're using well, here's the problem. You're using Sony Vegas.
this video to actually save.
I can
and it's
attest
not
to
been
that.
saving. So that's
Fuck
kind of a
Sony
creepy
Vegas.
fact too, just putting it out there.
Tats, I say this with as much respect as I possibly can.
Oh?
Please be quiet. You had art pieces, fan games, fan stories, animations, anything you can think of, this story got.
Wait, is that fucking? That's Peanut Butter Gamer, isn't it? That's Peanut Butter Gamer when he did the Ben Drown the G files, which was a short paranormal stuff in video games. But yeah, Tats, you're using Sony Vegas. But yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Fuck Sony Vegas, but fuck DaVinci Resolve even more. I do not want to give my phone number to a company. You know what they say about free stuff? If a product is free, you're the product.
This really is one of the most beloved creepypastas ever made.
Then why
The
did
thing
it fall
about
off?
it is, though, is that most people think it just stopped right there. You know, Ben is out there, let loose on the internet, giving you that guttural feeling of dread. But actually, that's not the
this
case.
dance fills
This
me
is
with
actually
dread.
the first part of a 3-act story, which is known as the
yeah.
Haunted Cartridge Arc. The next
Yep.
part would come about after Ben Drown blew up in popularity, in which we get what's known as the Moon Children Arc.
The
During
Moon
the Juicable's
Children.
gameplay of the game, he notices the children that are supposed to be playing around the tree in the last area of the game are missing, and this arc is meant to show you why that is.
Why?
This is when the story turns into an alternate reality game, where the most
Oh
dedicated
boy!
viewers and people interested in
Alternate
the story
reality
have got to hop around
game.
different websites and
Oh,
locations
my brain
in order to fully
hurts
piece the story
thinking
of this arc together.
about it.
Riding off of the huge success wave from the story,
more
a ton of
ARG
people
stuff.
gone to search for the clues to this next story arc, and we're all eventually pulled towards a website called YouShouldn'tHaveDoneThat.net. Because what else would it have
Why
been called?
not?
This
Because why
website
not?
seems to be an internet forum that's run entirely by a cult called the Moon Children. The Moon Children seem to worship a goddess named, you'll never guess what her name is,
Who?
Luna. The cult
Wow!
seems to see living
Nightmare
humanity as nothing but
Moon!
pain and suffering, and so they look to Luna and a way to
Nightmare Moon.
ascend. We'll come back to what that means later, but basically, yeah, we're now following
Yeah,
a cult
dox
that worships
yourself.
the Moon
Yeah,
goddess
dox yourself
with
for
very loose
Luna.
connections to Majora's Mask, you know, with the whole moon
I
falling
see
and the
name
whole
and
thing that
tech
game's got
and
going
phone.
on.
Dox
But now
yourself.
we're going to run into some issues. You see, this
Uh-oh.
arc was going to be the start of a very long ongoing ARG, but it was never actually finished. Creating an ARG is a pretty big undertaking for the one making it, as everything needs to
64.
fall into place to work as intended. I don't think Jujutsu was prepared for all the people
Wait, is that why it's been recommended to me? Is that why that video was recommended to me? Because of that weird ass ARG thing?
participating in it, due to the story's massive popularity and maintaining everything. The website would constantly change with more clues and info, but there were technical issues popping up, and all around, it
Of
was
course.
just a mess. He started teasing he was making a game for the ARG participants to play instead that'll have clues to the story, but this game would never end up being made. So that's another
Of
option down the drain.
course.
Oh, he was using Unity. Well, that
Oh.
explains it. But this arc is
Yeah, it
pretty
really
well
does
done.
explain
It's
everything.
entirely about this cult who wants to leave humanity in a sense.
I mean, it could be worse.
We
You could
also
make
get to
your
learn
own
about
engine.
the creator of the cult known as Kelpris, who started the cult after claiming to hear Luna's voice telling him about the truth of existence. And then he was apparently found dead by electrocution in 1998, which is strange because
Oh.
that's 2 years before Majora's Mask even came out. So the
Yeah,
question is,
what is with these
where
plot
is this all
holes?
going?
Yeah,
We
where
have
is this
a
all
haunted
going?
game cartridge possessed by a kid who drowned in a lake, and an online forum full of neckbeards that worship a moon goddess. How are these two things connected?
Yeah, how?
At some point, one of
IG
the
how?
moderators makes an announcement that they've all found a new home, and
MF Doom, PFP, good taste.
it'd take a bit for everything to fall into place.
Just wanted to point out his
And
drip.
really, that's all there is to the Moon Children
And
arc.
that's it.
That's all we really could get, as
Oh.
Jujuceable stopped the whole ARG here, due to personal issues and wanting to focus on his career. I mean, give the man some credit. He was doing all this for completely free, and probably wanted to make his actual life his
Totally
priority.
free.
So, yeah, there's no part where you can really pinpoint where the Moon Children arc ended,
So it's
as everything just kind
pointless.
of gradually fell apart. Also, apparently, there was some drama with a guy who was supposedly helping him, but I'd rather not get into that right now. Just
Yeah,
another thing to add to the list. But that's not to
Yeah,
say he
that's-
didn't have one more trick up his sleeve.
Yeah,
As the date of
the
April
video is
1st,
long
2012
enough.
was rolling around,
Oh,
and Jujuceable decided to have some fun with his own creations.
Oh boy.
On this date,
Here we
Jujuceable would
go.
upload a new Ben video for the first time in a while,
Oh
and it was
boy,
titled
this
King
one.
Kong.wmv.
This is funny.
This video would appear to be a recreation of the first Ben Drown video, but then, what's this, a trick with a twist?
Huh? Oh, I got VOD mute in the
So
trunk.
instead of anything scary, we get a shit post in video form
That's
with funky
fucking
beats, and
base.
then he goes Super Saiyan.
That's fucking base.
No, stop it, Goku!
The reactions
too-
to this video were mixed. One half thought it was the funniest shit ever. And
It
the
really
other half,
is.
the ones who were really invested in the creepypasta, fucking hated it. They thought it completely ruined the story
Best
and it broke
hack
character
ever.
from what was established. It was basically confirmation. The entire story was, well, fiction. Like, no duh. A
Yeah, no
multitude of
shit,
people threatened
dude.
either Jujuceble's life or their own lives because of this April Fool's joke. To say, yeah, some people definitely overreacted. But you want to know the best part about this?
I wonder what kind of crazy things people are planning for April Fools this year. This by the man himself.
Entire
That's fucking
thing.
awesome.
This was the last official anything we got for Ben Drown around this time. To a lot of people, this
Oh.
was the last thing they ever saw in regards to the story. It ended with this.
Aw, shit.
That took so much longer than the others. This is what I call a Super Saiyan 3.
Now, if the story
Hell
actually ended
yeah.
like this, that would be the best ending to any internet story
That'd be-
ever.
It's like the fucking Callisto Protocol ending, like the true ending of Callisto Protocol. If you don't know, oh my god, watch the Mandalore video on the DLC of Callisto Protocol. I'm not going to react to it because I think reviews are a little too dry, but you have to fucking watch it. It's so good. It's so good. It's baffling how they essentially ended the franchise. It's insane.
Took so much longer than the others. This is what I call a Super Saiyan 3.
Now, if the story actually ended like this, that would be the best ending to any internet story ever. Nothing else could top it. But
Yeah,
we can't
but-
really end a horror story like this, can we? No. You would have to wait a while for the story to continue.
Wag. Yeah.
The 2010s would trot along, many other creepypastas would be made, and many other horror franchises would take the internet
It's
by
FNAF
storm.
at Freddy's.
Many creepypastas would also get their own feature-length films. that
Oh
would
no,
complete trash.
dear
Years would
David!
pass by, and eventually the entire
Why are
creepypasta
you
scene
haunting
would
me?
leave the mainstream consciousness. They had their time in the spotlight.
Why do you haunt me?
But that time was now over. But even after all this, we wouldn't get an official update on Ben Drown's story until about 8 years later.
8
8
freaking
years is a long
years.
time. For reference, the Nintendo Wii U was released, killed off and replaced by the Nintendo Switch, that then proceeded to gain a substantial library of games to boot, all within that time frame. It's
Nice.
very difficult to keep those still invested in the story for that long, but Jujuceable decided it was finally
Goddamn.
time to wrap up Ben's story for good.
Finally.
But before we do that, I want to go off on a little tangent and discuss something about horror real quick.
Huh?
Just a heads up, this is an incredibly opinionated segment coming up,
Your
so you're free
opinions
to
make
disagree
me-
if you like, but this is how I feel.
Your waifu is a shit. I remember that edit. I don't know if I have it, but I don't want to go looking for it.
One aspect of horror I think that needs to be understood more is the mystery aspect of it. And what I mean by that
absolutely.
is, when you know less about your situation, the scarier it actually is.
Ooh.
Humans are naturally afraid of what they don't know.
You know what they
and
say?
that goes for pretty much any situation they might find themselves in.
You know what H.P. Lovecraft said? A beast and they rot in semi-human figure. They filled it with vice and called it. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong thing. No, the real quote is the most primal fear of man is fear of the unknown.
when you're stuck in the middle of the woods with no clear direction. That's scary because you don't know what's out there and what could be lurking behind any tree.
Indeed.
That's the most basic example I
Yes.
can think of. But when it comes to something supernatural, something otherworldly and horror, the less you know
Oh, I
about
just
it,
watched
the
this.
better. When you don't know anything about the thing you're up against, that's terrifying. Like, imagine
Very
you look up from your
terrifying.
device in the pitch black of the night and just see these eyes peering back at you from the darkness. You don't know what it is. You don't know what its motives are. You don't know what it wants from you. And your imagination starts to fill in the blanks. But your imagination will create scenarios and theories in your head that will be 10 times scarier than what it may actually be. All of the ideas run through your head, and while this is happening, the lights finally come on, and it turns out to be...
Nosferatu! I love
If you get
that.
an answer for what the supernatural thing
Nice.
is, it demystifies
Wait, is this
it
the
and
Langoliers?
potentially lessens your fear of it, because it can potentially give you an idea of what it might
Oh,
be
it's-
weak to,
oh,
if
it's
you can
Silent
find a
Hill.
way out of your
The
situation.
newer one.
And a lot of the time, that definitely happens. I'm not saying every piece of horror media needs to keep the monster's origins a secret, but I'm just saying a lot of the time, less is
Oh,
more.
it's PT.
Let me bring up
I
another
only just
creepypasta
realized
as
this
an
is
example.
PT.
Sonic.exe.
Oh
One
boy,
of the
here we
most
go.
well-known creepypastas of
Oh
all
boy, here we
time,
go.
and the one who is still relevant to this day.
Oh,
I think everyone
no,
is in
the
universal
FNAF
agreement that the original
Friday
story
Nights at
itself is awful.
Funkins.
It's so try-hard and edgy, with an absolutely
is
plumb-dead
absolutely.
stupid protagonist who gets a cursed game in the mail by a friend and then sees all of his favorite Sonic characters get murdered in brutal ways. It's the most paint-by-numbers haunted game creepypasta you can think of. It
Yeah.
sucks.
It's
I am God.
bad. Come on, you know.
You might want to brush your teeth there, God.
Even
Yeah.
then, even after
Yeah,
reading
give-
the garbage,
give this guy
there
some-
was still this
some-
aura of uncertainty that was kind of creepy. You never get an explanation
little.
of what the game actually was, or what any of it meant, or why his friend had it and sent it to him, or what
Yeah, the-
unspeakable
where's
acts
the
he was going to
why?
do to that Sonic plot. Not many people
Oh,
know
no!
this, but Sonic.exe actually got a direct sequel, written by the same author. And it pretty much
All right. The JC the Hyena is an unironic Diddy Blood Epstein disciple. He's an actual creep. Actual creep, by the way. I'm not like doing like, oh, he likes underage drawings or whatever. But no, this guy's actually fucked. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty. I just want to watch the funny Elegy of Emptiness video.
what little mystique the original story had left. By God, I think it might be worse than the original.
Show,
In
don't
this story,
tell.
we follow a different protagonist who's a detective, and he's been on the case about a series of murders called the Sonic.exe murders.
The Sonic
in which the
EXE
victims are found deceased
murders.
in front of their computers after playing some Sonic games on them. This pasta then goes and fully explains what exactly Sonic.exe is. It turns out Sonic.exe is actually a demon named X who lives in a hell dimension. But why does he look exactly like Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah, why?
Get a load of this. When
Okay.
X discovered our dimension, he was so intrigued by humanity and its creations, and also became obsessed specifically with a cartoony hedgehog originating from a
Does
1991
X have
platform from Sega Genesis.
autism?
He became so entranced by this creature, he then decided to transform his entire being and appearance to be based on him and his franchise. I
What
don't
the
mean to
fuck?
stereotype, but I think if X looked a little longer on what humanity created, he would have picked a different franchise to hyperfixate on.
That's
Fucking
fucking awesome.
So instead, he decides to use video games to take
So
over the
we have an
world. He creates these
autistic-
games and then sends them to our dimension to claim the souls of the people who play them. But not only that, it also involves a cult. Yeah, we're talking about a lot of cults
Of
today.
course,
called
it's
the
a
Cult
cult.
of X, who worship
Cult
X
of
and his
X.
vision of the world.
Aren't those just? Isn't there another name for that? Elon Glazers.
A cult that worships a Sonic-like entity. That's just the Sonic fan base. And they will go
Yeah,
about to
it's
distribute
real.
these games to claim as many souls
I hate
as possible.
those.
Oh,
I
and
hate
those
those.
Sonic plushies? Yeah, it turns out those are used to spy on whoever has them, because they don't look suspicious in the slightest.
Yeah, totally not suspicious.
Everyone, would you like to play with me?
No, thank
If
you.
want to play with me, look for my plush doll. You'll know.
Ugh! Oh, I hate this. Look how rotten this looks.
So in the end,
Wait,
that-
what?
You'll know what to do afterwards.
So in the end,
Oh,
that is one of
rotten.
the dumbest concepts for a horror villain I've ever heard.
Actually,
Any
fucking
mystique the original story
stupid.
had has been thrown out the window. Out of everything in our world, the interdimensional hell demon chooses Sonic the Hedgehog to base his
Why?
existence on. That's
Why?
stupid.
Yeah,
And
that's
just looking at the games he creates
insane.
now, in order to torment his victims, I can't find these scary anymore either, knowing he made these by hand. The only image
He
that
made
pops up in my
these
head
by
now
hand.
is seeing this guy slumped over a computer programming these abominations. And this is
Oh no!
head now is seeing this
I recognize. Oh no! I recognize that Tails. Oh my god!
guy slumped over a computer programming these abominations.
Yeah,
And this is
programming.
why Sonic.exe was seen as one of the biggest jokes in creepypastas for the longest time.
There's Sunky.
I'm terribly sorry for this tangent, but this is what I'm trying to get at here. An attempt to explain the spooky thing can end up catastrophic for the story, depending on how it goes.
Yeah, don't
And I
explain.
bring all this
Show,
up
don't
because that is
tell.
exactly what happened with Ben Drowned. The final story arc of Ben Drowned
no.
goes off the fucking rails into Looney Town with what is revealed, with the final arc finally being
boy.
unleashed onto the world on March 17th of 2020, simply known as Awakening.
Awakening.
So
You have a
mysterious
problem
videos
with Sonic X? Oh, you mean Sonic? You mean Sonic.exe or the anime? I think the anime is pretty cool. All right.
popped up on Juducible's channel, which had some tics about how broken the world was, and this kicked off another ARG.
Oh boy, another
More cryptic
ARG.
videos were
Love
posted,
it.
including some that required you to use a spectrogram, which you then had to translate. Yeah, this is another ARG, alright. There's also this
Can
video where these
anyone-
AI faces just stare at you. And this was a few years ago when AI faces were directly in the Uncanny Valley, so this might freak a few people out.
Yeah, that
a
is
new website
freaky.
was found called Methods of Revelation.
Yeah, remember when I know I'm going on a lot of tangents, but remember when AI like a couple of years ago was just Will Smith eating spaghetti wrong? Yeah, I kind of miss those days.
Which of course had a bunch of new clues and hints for ARG files to find and piece everything together. More takes videos telling us how shitty the world is. Ain't that the truth? A video is posted
Yeah,
with a
ain't
guy
that the
wearing a gas
truth?
mask.
Real.
He must have visited Hazy Maze Cave. And then a video called
Oh,
A
what?
video is
Wait,
posted
what
with
are
a guy wearing a
those?
gas mask. He must have visited Hazy Maze.
Proof that Hazy. Oh no. Oh. Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
Cave.
Oh,
and then a
no.
video
I'm not
called
reading that shit.
Children.wmv was posted.
Children.
Which is supposedly a missing video that was never uploaded during the original Haunted Cartridge arc back in 2012, where he meets a giant Deku scrub, sees an NPC and tries to interact with him. We get this distorted face giving us a warning, and that's it.
And
If it seems
that's
like
it.
I'm skipping a lot, that's because I'm really just getting to the main stuff that actually matters.
There's just a lot
Since
of
the ERG
fluff.
has been solved a long time ago, you're really just missing
A
the clues
lot
that
of
hinted
fluff.
and teased what was to come. A video named Father.wmv was uploaded to the
Father.
channel, and this is apparently the last video Juducible made during the Haunted Cartridge arc that we're now just getting. In this video,
Sure.
Juducible seems to have dug a little
Sure,
too
buddy.
deep into the cartridge, because now the game is actively telling him to turn back and stop what he's doing. But sadly, these warnings have nothing on the power of internet clicks. Eventually he goes deep enough in the cartridge despite its protests, and eventually finds this.
Everything is bow. Bow bow. Oh my god. Boo.
Now, I will admit, this is a freaky discovery. That is genuinely unsettling. It
Yeah,
has
that
another AI
is.
image, but something about this one
It's-
just hits that sweet spot, and the way it's just towering over the main character.
Yeah, big is scary.
Well, that explains why we haven't gotten any updates for 8 years. Also, you can tell this was made when the pandemic was happening. It reflects in the dialogue. Probably also a reason why
Oh,
this was made all
boy.
these years later. The creator was bored and needs something to do. But
Might
now
as well
we're
dust
moving
off the
into when
old
story
Ben
starts to get
cartridge.
absurd. Because next we would get a video named Methods of Revolution. And in this video, oh wow, these are some really good Nintendo 64 graphics.
Indeed.
No, it seems we now have some actual live-action videos instead of just gameplay footage and text. We're now getting the creepypasta equivalent of Nostalgia Critic skits. It's some guy who's now
it's
trapped in
demo
this
reel.
shoddy-looking hotel with a bunch of crap around, and he's told by the phone guy to just sit back
That's
and
a
relax.
radio.
You don't need to eat or anything.
It's a radio,
You'll
buddy.
Be taken care of.
You're completely cut off from the outside world in what would best be described as a halfway house. You're on the first floor, surrounded by oblivion. It brings up the bigger question,
Oblivion?
why even leave? You've got it great here. We've got books to read. You got a better chance to get in touch with God. We've got entertainment sets. As long as you stay away from the jailer, you shouldn't have any problem.
Who is
Oh,
the
and if he
jailer?
leaves, he'll be taken out by Pyro outside. Now here's when things get
The
interesting
Pyro
from the
from
ARG side of things,
Fortress.
because from this point forward, the people who are part of Jutusible's Patreon, wait, Patreon?
Wait, what
Hey,
the-
I got one of those.
Hey,
The people on Jutusible's Patreon
give him
are now
money.
able to vote what the protagonist does in a choose-your-own-adventure kind of way. And honestly, that's kind of neat. That's some of the character choices, whereby the people actually participating in this. They all voted for
Cool.
him to grab a couple of items and wait about 6 days before exploring the hotel he's in. Seeing a bunch of notes and other items left by the other visitors of the hotel, the guy waits another couple of days before attempting to escape, and then when he tries, he's taken out by the gas mask guy.
No!
Well then,
Damn.
we get ourselves a third protagonist, who goes by the name of Sarah. Sarah gets the same spiel the other guy did, just relax, don't go outside or else you'll die, etc, etc. Well, it's then decided by the Patreon that Sarah's going to just stay in the hotel room and relax, and won't risk death. After a couple days, she's eventually sent a Nintendo 64 and
She
a familiar-looking
found it.
copy of Majora's Mask.
She found it. That's a microwave, not a TV.
Oh
Silly.
my god, you're gonna play an N64 game on a widescreen HD TV? Ew!
Oh, that's
You
the
guys
real.
couldn't give her a CRT TV or something?
That's
Well,
the
she
real
starts playing the
horror.
game and then finds herself in a forest with... Oh,
Uh,
well, you've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? She
Indeed
falls
he
into the
has.
void and is suddenly given some text by someone claiming to be Ben. And then Ben asks her to play a song. And then the guy on the phone notices and says, well, this.
Well, that's weird. I know the game's old, but come on. That shouldn't really matter here. Huh. Let me try rebooting something. But anyway, that's interesting, right? I mean, it's not every day that there's a crazy AI out there that tries to communicate with you. You should keep on talking to it and see what it wants. You know, pull its strings a little bit.
AI, huh?
AI, huh? Oh,
boy.
this is
She
definitely.
plays the Song of Healing, which in turn heals Ben, and then we get a gigantic lore dump from not only Ben, but the phone guy.
Oh
You know, I
boy.
gotta give it to you, Sarah. I'm pretty impressed.
Oh,
I've never
boy.
seen anyone do that before. Ever.
It turns out Ben is not entirely in control of himself, and instead, the one named the father, the guy who ate Jutusable earlier, is the one who's in control of everything, and he's slowly corrupting everything and everyone in the game. And it's also pretty much confirmed that the father is actually Kelbris, the guy who started the Moon Children cult and was found dead back in 1998. How the hell do they end up in this game anyway?
How
Well,
though?
I hope you're sitting down for this.
Yeah, I'm
Ben,
sitting.
this entire time, is actually an advanced AI that went rogue and broke from his set parameters.
Are you
But not only
fucking
that,
kidding
Ben
me?
used to be a human who had his consciousness stuffed inside the cartridge. Going out of order here, another website was discovered called the Eternity Project, created by a corporation named Xavier Solutions. This website goes into
Okay.
great detail about what they do, which is to basically create an artificial afterlife for humans to go to since the real world went to shit, which
It's Soma. It's Soma. Jadusable played Soma by Frictional Games on personal computers, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and other such consoles. Got the idea from Soma and implemented it in his spooky story about a child and a video game cartridge from 2000 called The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 64, also developed by Nintendo. Anyways,
includes taking the consciousness of a said human and putting it in their favorite form of media, be it a video game, movie, etc. Rest in peace, Warhammer 40k fans. A video explaining more about this would eventually be posted on
Rip.
Jutusible's channel.
We believe humanity has a greater destiny, not one that was meant for a life of living in perpetual debt, in a world full of poverty, violence, and corruption. At the Eternity Project, we set out with a mission to help alleviate the suffering and give us, all of us, a chance to prosper as we were always destined to. Once a part of the Eternity Project, you and your loved ones can enjoy a carefree existence, experiencing new joys in the various worlds we've designed. Here, you can live without fear of pain or death.
It quite literally
You can
is
take on any
Soma.
role. Be the hero of your favorite movie. Rescue the princess from an evil dragon. Relive your childhood through some of your favorite video games. Once digitized, you'll be able to enjoy your
And that also
newfound
looks
freedom.
a little
You've
suspiciously
become
like
part of a world where anything is possible, and you have eternity to enjoy it. So join us on our endeavor to connect the world in perfect harmony. For a millennia, humanity has always lived in the shadow of our greatest enemy, death. But now, there is no reason to fear it. We have created eternity.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting.
They essentially call moving from the real world to this artificial world ascending. Does that sound familiar? So in order to get test subjects, they set up the Moon Children cult. This entire time the cult was a ruse to basically groom and convince castaways from life to ascend for their artificial intelligence program, and that's what happened to Ben. He wasn't a ghost. He never actually drowned in that lake. He was tricked by this corporation into signing away his life for the promises of becoming his favorite video game character, and then they stuffed his consciousness inside of a copy of Majora's Mask, and then tossed his body in a lake. To be honest, if I lit like that, I think I'd sign my life away too. Although instead of becoming rich like he wanted, he instead got trapped inside the Elegy of Emptiness statue, which means he can't really communicate. But why was he tormenting and torturing Deducible then if he was a victim?
Yeah,
well,
what?
guess what?
Because of the
there
father.
are now two Bens in this story. You see, there's Ben, and then there's Ben. Ben is the little boy who got stuck inside the statue. The other Ben stands for Behavior Event Network, which is a collective consciousness
Are
of
you
the
fucking
other
kidding me?
people in
It's
the cartridge.
Skynet?
Oh yeah, there's multiple people in this cartridge now. You remember
What?
all those Moon
You gotta
Children
be-
cult members?
Oh my
it turns
God.
out all of them also got taken by the corporation and had their consciousnesses stuffed inside of here, which
Wait, how many?
also got taken.
Wait, are these also Thor?
Hello, I am Thor. I used to work at Blizzard. Keep killing games. I need the money from Overwatch, you know.
Taken by the corporation and had their consciousnesses stuffed
Also, I
inside
thought
of
these
here,
was,
which makes you wonder how many fucking people are in this cartridge. Well,
I don't
it's
think the
believed
and I
to
don't
be
think the
around
Super Nintendo.
17. 17
17?
people are in this one 64 megabyte cartridge.
How?
I'm pretty sure if an N64 cart could hold the consciousnesses of 17 people, it would have had more games. So this bin is a collective consciousness of the other people in the cartridge. This was the entity that was doing all the creepy shit, and the one that escaped into the internet, in an attempt to scare Deducible away from the game so they would be left alone. So, Ben was put inside a statue by a machine, while the statue Ben was teleporting around trying to get Deducible's attention, but Ben at the same time was trying to scare you away, but that Ben isn't Ben, this Ben just wants your help, but this Ben wants you to leave and isn't actually Ben but everyone else in the cartridge, and they call themselves Ben. Dear God, could you have made this more confusing? And what of Kelbris?
Yeah, what about him?
He was put into the game world as the happy mask salesman, watching over the player this whole time as him. But when Deducible went too deep in, Kelbris' AI went rogue, and Kelbris now goes by the Father, and is essentially slowly taking over and corrupting the entire game world and everyone
What
in
the
it.
fuck?
This was
My
back in 2012,
brain.
mind you, so it's been about 8 years going on at this point.
My brain hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Drowned is now no longer about a boy who drowned in a lake possessing a cartridge of Majora's Mask. It is now about a corporation kidnapping people and stuffing their consciousnesses inside pieces of media to live forever. This
Jesus fucking Christ, Jadusible's a hack.
isn't a supernatural horror story anymore. We've shifted genres. I'd try to say this
We
is a
are
lot
now
more
in
interesting and entertaining than
cyberpunk.
just a supernatural ghost story. But the thing is,
Come.
this isn't scary at all.
This isn't
All the
scary. This
tension
is
basically
fucking
gone now
retarded.
because the things that were supposed to give us a sense of dread have been demystified, which wouldn't be an issue if not for the fact this was Ben Drowned. This was one of the most famous creepypastas of all time. It was so famous, it gave people psychosis about it. They thought Ben was actually real and was out to get them. It was effective in what it did. We have an explanation for everything.
It was
now.
so
The
good,
mystique,
but then
the
they fucked
mystery of
it.
it all is gone now.
It's
We
like-
know it's not the fault of a spooky ghost anymore, but a corporation trying to play God and not being able to deal with what they created. And now it's Sarah's job to fix the world, so she's given a mask and transformed into Adult Link and sent back in time to stop the father before everything is destroyed. Everything seems to be normal so far.
Everything is normal. Or is it?
Until Sarah runs into the potion seller named Matt,
Him!
who is another person who got
Matt.
stuffed in the game, and it gives you a synopsis that's pretty much everything I just told you.
Yeah,
Matt mentions
just
it's probably
exposition,
best to try and use
lore
the same
dump, Metal
four things
Gear.
that Juju's
Yeah.
tried all those years
Metal
ago
Gear.
in order to stop the father. But of course, it's not going to be easy.
Colonel. Metal Gear. Expedition. Ben drowned. Ben. Cartridge. Glitch. The father. Colonel. The beans.
Because the minute she steps back outside, the first boss of the game
Oh
drops
shit!
on her.
It's that
From
thing.
this point forward, the majority of the videos coming out are a result of Jujusable's Patreon supporters choosing where Sarah should go, just to explore the game world
Of
and see what
course.
she can find before confronting the father. And she meets all sorts of weird characters, with the father also screwing with the game world whenever he can. She meets other moon children, some of which are working with the father as they're happy here, so they sick a bunch of aliens and another mini-boss on Sarah. And this time it
Of
seems
course.
Sarah is no match for it, so she flees.
Damn, run away.
She runs
Discretion
into
is the
another
better
person
part
trapped
of
in the
valor.
game who goes by the name Rosa. And to help you, she gives you the light arrows and a new item called the Pendant of Memories, which can apparently restore the memories of some characters. With the light
Huh,
arrows,
alright.
Sarah makes quick work of the mini-boss. She explores
Zap!
a bit more, gets more lore dumps, learns
Alright,
more
yeah,
names,
just
fights
play
more
through
bosses.
the
And I would
game
like to
and-
remind you, nothing really scary has happened the
Yeah,
past
that's
few
just
videos.
it's just
I feel as if I'm
weird
just watching someone play a ROM hack
randomizer
of Majora's
gameplay.
Mask with some enemy placements altered, and I've had more lore and backstory dumped on me than a Metal Gear Solid game. At some
There you
point,
go.
the game world starts to deteriorate the more she plays, just like it did back when Jujusable played it. And speaking of Jujusable, she suddenly runs into him. Turns
what
out,
the hell?
after Kelpers yomped him, his consciousness was forced into the game, and he doesn't seem too happy with Sarah's progress, and so he decides to strike her down and steal her shit.
You gotta be kidding me. What's going on? Whatever could be happening. Now we'll finish this. Wow! Rules of nature! Rules of nature! Also, reskin of
We did an
Dark
admittedly
Link.
pretty cool fight against Jujusable, but seeing this in action really makes me wish I was playing this instead of watching somebody else play it.
Yeah,
But,
release
spoiler
the
alert,
ROM hack!
Jujusable actually succeeds in taking Sarah down, as in he actually kills her.
What he done?
And if you die in the game, you die in real life.
Oh my
It's never officially confirmed, but it's hinted that after this, she got sucked into the game, just like what happened with
She got
Jujusable.
eaten.
She wakes back up in Clock Town, and things have gone to shit. The moon is about to crash, and all the people who are in the game are going nuts and arguing what they should do. And I'd just like to point out the fact that this is literally just the original scenario of Majora's Mask, but with extra steps. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
it's
Sarah
just
has to go to the top of the Astral Observatory and perform the fourth day glitch. And now the story decides to throw one more curveball at us in the last video called The End.
the end.
After performing the fourth day glitch, it empties the entire town, and this is when Matt reveals to us he tricked us from the start. Matt
all
actually wants the
died.
entire game world to go to shit, and he tricked Sarah into performing the glitch to unleash the father's power, and only now does the story turn back to horror again. It took long enough.
It only took
so
that
she flees
the
down into
end.
the sewers and sees Jujusable and Ben just sitting there. Jujusable hits us with something truly terrifying. Another plot dump. Too long
You
didn't
gotta
leave.
be
Sarah's journey
fucking
was already
kidding me.
prearranged, and it would have ended badly whether she completed it or not. Jujusable stepped in to stop you from completing it, and you still screwed everything up. It turns out Jujusable actually grew to care for the people stuck in the game, and did everything he could to protect them. And damn, listen to that funky hip-hop beat going on during this exposition.
Oh, really? Yeah, good exposition music. Perfect exposition music. I'm almost kind of
Is
glad
this
I
still
didn't.
KingKong.wmv? Eventually, Deducing
Nice.
chooses to give Sarah the last of his power, and with the power of God and anime on her side,
Hell
Sarah's
yeah.
gonna put an end to this. She
Hell
goes through the
yeah.
tunnel and encounters Matt and Ben, the evil Ben, mind you.
The
Matt gives a big evil speech and then
evil
proceeds to
Ben.
sink the final boss of the game on you.
Majora's Wrath. Whoa, CD quality. CD quality.
Something just dawned on me.
Huh?
I didn't mention at the time, but Matt was a part of the Moon Children cult, and actually, his main role in the Moon Children cult was being a moderator for the website, and now it's revealed Matt is basically behind everything in this last arc. So that would mean the final boss of all of Ben Drowned,
It was
a story
this
that went
guy.
on for over a decade, is a fucking internet janitor.
A fucking Danny. Okay. This story is peem. It's peem. This story's peak now. Absolute cinema. The final boss is a fucking Janny. Holy shit.
After fighting Majora's Wrath
Based.
long enough, Sarah places Song of Healing on it, which manages to defeat it. And before Matt can do anything to us...
What's going on? What's going on? What happened?
Well, he's gone.
Oh, he's dead.
And then she comes face to face with the father.
Once
and
again.
we get another explanation for what's actually been going on.
Oh my
It
fucking
turns
God!
out the father was only acting like this because so many people saw him as a villain to fight, and since his entire purpose was to satisfy the people in the game, he acted like a villain. He was only giving them what he thought they wanted, and now that they want him to stop, he's going to stop. So really, it was all just one big misunderstanding. But in
Just
order to
one
fix
misunderstanding.
everything,
Did Genshin Impact rip off Ben Drowned? Because that's literally what Farina's story is.
he's going to need to give everything a hard
Spoilers,
reset.
by the way. Who cares?
So it'll be like none of this ever happened, and Sarah's going to be wiped from the game. And so, it happens.
It happens. The end happens. It's finally over.
The credits roll, and we see Ben finally gets to be the hero he always wanted to be. And so the lesson to be learned here is, Ben had good intentions, the father had good intentions, the only true evil in this world is corporations and internet moderators.
Yeah,
You know what? I can live with that
based.
lesson. And so,
Kinda
a decade-long
based.
story has finally come to an end. And by God, what a hot mess this is. The
Yeah,
original
what a
story, The first arc,
disaster.
I mean, is a creepypasta classic.
Yeah.
I didn't make this to be a Ben Drowned was never good type of video.
It was
because I
good,
still
but then it
think
got
the
butchered
original
because-
story is good and holds up. But
Because Alex Hall, Jadusable, literally did a Ridley Scott. He literally did a Ridley Scott. Actually, in fact, I'm going to comment that. I'm going to put that in the comments after the video.
dear Lord, does this story just get stuffed full of so much exposition and backstory when none of that was needed? I
Yeah,
really think
absolutely.
The entire plot should have just ended after the first arc.
In fact,
And
I
this ending
stopped
probably
there.
meant a lot to the people who have been following it since day one.
I stopped
and more
there,
power to
too.
them. But this was just so much. And like I said,
It
it
was-
hardly counts as horror anymore because nothing
Yeah,
really all
it's-
that scary
It's just a
happens in the last arc.
machinima.
It
It's at that point, it's just a Majora's Mask machinima.
just became something else entirely. The creator is probably just happy to have wrapped things up after so many issues with trying to get the ARG going. And speaking of the creator, after the story was done, he transformed the original Ben Drowned video into an NFT and put it up for auction.
Oh,
And the majority of people still thought Ben was a
no.
spooky internet ghost and would probably haunt your computer if you bought this. NFTs and crypto shit aside, I just
Oh,
want to say,
no.
even though the story went
Of
off the
course.
fucking rails into lunacy, I still think this is better written than most of the creepypastas. I mean,
That is
I
true.
know that's not a really high
That-
bar, but it's still
that
like
is true.
something. But remember, this is Ben Drowned. This was said to be one of the
Drowned,
scariest creepypastas
by the way.
ever. It was so well done, and people acknowledged that back in the day. I just don't think the last arc really lives up to that. But at the end
Yeah,
of the day,
I'm glad I
it's
skipped
his
it.
story, and he decides what happens in it. And I'll fight
I'm not
for
so
his
sure
right to
about
do
that, buddy.
I'm just saying, he could have stopped while he was ahead.
Yeah,
But in
just like
actuality,
Ridley Scott.
This story could potentially be the perfect metaphor for the current state of things. The original
Oh?
story kicked off the 2010s, which was an era of internet horror. And the exact same story ended in 2020. The 2020s are now an era full of talk about artificial intelligence and technology, and maybe this is what the creator wanted all along. I don't know. It's just something to think about.
I think
And
it's just
so,
cope.
If you were ever
At that point, I
wondering
think it's
whatever
just
happened to
cope.
Ben after the initial story, there you have it. Maybe you were better off not knowing, or maybe you feel like the story is finally complete. That's up to you. But nothing will ever top that original tale.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it, and you probably won't either.
I won't ever forget
God bless, like and subscribe, and good night. Here's to hoping your terrible fate turns into a good one.
Good night
Happy
and happy Halloween, Mr. Mush. And remember, Jannies are evil.
Is to go even further beyond.
Aw, shit! He's going Super Sand lesbian! He is a real Super Sand! Awesome. Another certified banger by Mr. Mush. Yo, this beat is banana. Straight King Kong. I unplugged the HMDI cable from my PC out of fright. All I was greeted with was a black screen with a hyper-realistic reflection of myself. Okay, I'll stop. Ben Drowned exits the water and becomes Ben Ground. This is like learning a horror movie you loved when you were younger. When you were younger, had about 10 shitty sequels. True. Very true. That's just the pool's closed. Ben drowned. The story ending up being about the horrors of being AI used by corporations to profit off human dread, apathy, and the longing of childhood nostalgia, only to wrap it up with the creator turning it into an NFT is certainly potent. That's fucking insane. There you go. There's my comment there. Judiciable really was the Ridley Scott of creepypastas. And yeah, my elaboration on that is he made a beloved creepypasta a work, Ben Drowned, and then compare that to Ridley Scott's Alien or Aliens. And then it just went off the fucking rails with the Awakening arc, or in this case of Ridley Scott, Prometheus. I think that's all I have to say about that. But yes, I hope you have a very merry Halloween. Even though this is most likely going to come out in like a week after Halloween. So, better late than never.